ocean will be down for upstream. Are you with me? Feeling ocean will be down for upstream. Are you with me?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Adrian Zdunchik, CMT Charter Market Technician. Welcome to today's AMA session with our incredible partners of Vertical AI. I'm here joined today by Mark, who's going to talk to us about how awesome Vertical AI is. We're going to talk about, the overall AI concept, the language models, what's so special about Vertical AI and beyond that. And to kick off, let me know how you guys are doing today in the comments. There's going to be an incredible discussion. And well, welcome, Mark. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good, man. We had some very positive news from the tech team this morning, and I always like the positive news from the tech team. It always, you know, uh, makes my day. So moving forward, doing good, man. How are you?
Love it so much. Thanks, Mark, for asking, and thanks for bringing the gospel, right? Because it's always good to hear good news, and I'm gonna be looking forward to hearing actually, throughout the entirety of the MA session, of what's good, what's cooking up behind the scenes, so many aspects on the vertical AI. I'm doing personally great now, even better seeing you, Mark, and being able to praise incredible partnership that we have with you guys at Vertical AI at the Burbness. I think that's a big win for the industry. And without further ado, I'd love to uh, bring a little bit closer light and then just shed some light to our viewers and listeners who are not familiar with Vertical AI. What is Vertical AI?
Yeah. So Vertical is, you know, a no-code platform with which we want to, enable everyone to start building these custom AI models and make it really accessible to everyone, And I think the term accessible is it's pretty broad. It's a container term. So let's break it down a little bit. So making something accessible means that you need to make it easy to use. You need to remove the technical barriers. And in our opinion, one of the most important one is to make it affordable, right? And we are basically trying to solve or address all these three matters by building a couple key products in our platform. First and foremost, the vertical studio, which is basically the no code AI playground that you're building, where you can create your own data sets in an intuitive interface, but also fine tune models in just minutes. Besides that, we're also building the vertical cloud. This is actually a new product that we kind of introduced or formalized a couple of weeks ago, and this is basically our own custom cloud solution where we were able to cut the cost for fine tuning and hosting models by 45% compared to traditional providers by integrating decentralized networks like Akash. And thirdly, of course, the product that most people are familiar with is the vertical stream. And to put it simply, this is a central hub where anyone can come in, easily list and consume any AI model on demand. And these three elements, they work cohesively, like in one ecosystem. They all complement each other in a way or another, and they all are integrated into another. But the main goal is to give this one platform to consume and build custom AI models.
All right. So you're talking about the overall kind of like capacity improvements, right? Shortening, 45%. Like those are big numbers. Those are big changes, right? Let's talk about the focus, right? Because why is the focus on industry specific kind of like AI instead of the overall generally accessible language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, and now Grok and stuff like that?
Yeah, so don't get me great. These horizontal models, don't get me wrong, these horizontal models are great. But they're very broad, they're very good in serving a broad range of questions, etc. But if you talk about vertical models, they outperform these generalized models because they're fine-tuned with deep domain expertise, making it more accurate, making them more efficient, and most of the times also making them more impactful within the specific industry where they are fine-tuned towards. I, you know, I think it's best to give an example for this. When I was working at a real estate developing company, I was working there before this. We had an engineering team there that needed to validate which type of building codes apply to the project, right? And the old-fashioned way, like we always did before AI came into our lives, was manually search through these large regulatory documents and search on keywords, which is slow and inefficient because you have no idea what you're missing, and if you read over something. And I kind of introduced, ChatGPT back at then. That was like the biggest model that you could use or the best one. And I introduced it, but we noticed that it couldn't really provide the accurate answer because it's trained on this mix of building codes from different types of years, and sometimes it even brought in building codes from other countries. And this really made the response of this general model very unreliable. And what I actually did back then is I solved this by training a custom AI assistant, especially for this team. And I was feeding it, organized data that I made myself, and also the unorganized data, different types of PDF files specific to the Dutch building codes that we needed, the accurate ones for that year. And this way, we ensured that it only used the correct regulations from the right year, and this allowed the engineers to quickly find the relevant compliance requirements for their projects. And it was even capable of pinpointing the right chapters in the right documents to search for either further details. And this, greatly reduced the search times through these documents for these engineers. And this really showcases the power of training your own model, right? And why we need the tools that are accessible. Because it would have been more awesome if these engineers were able to do this themselves and didn't need, me at that point with knowledge about how to do it to build it for them. And I think if we can build, these tools and open up the possibilities for anyone, even without technical knowledge about AI, to build these types of assistants for themselves. It really opens up a lot of free time to spend on other more important things, right? And I think this is where vertical models really shine compared to these traditional models.
What about the biggest kind of like technical objections, like the biggest technical difficulties, challenges, problems that you guys, have had to solve basically while competing with those other horizontal models, just like you mentioned, and going vertical?
Well, that's the thing, right? I've built a couple vertical models myself in the past, but as vertical AI, we don't really build the vertical models. We are really focused on building the tools so you can build the vertical models. But I can share, the biggest hurdle that we are experiencing in building our platform out so that it's accessible, especially the affordable side by integrating these decentralized networks. Because one of the biggest technical challenges we faced while integrating these decentralized networks was enabling dynamic orchestration and auto scaling while leveraging networks like Akash. And these are maybe some technical terms that some of the listeners don't know, but it's extremely important because auto scaling is crucial for AI deployment because it allows for the compute resources to adjust dynamically to the demands, and therefore preventing the excess costs when usage is low, but also preventing performance bottlenecks when usage spike. And this auto scaling capabilities, they come out of the box with traditional providers like AWS, but we notice that these don't come natively on these decentralized networks. And this really created this fundamental limitation in where deploying AI models cost efficiently is one thing, but ensuring that they can scale, with the fluctuation in inference in demand. And it really opened up the holy grail with true scalability on these decentralized networks, right? And um, this is the exact reason why we brought in a new product that we call Vertical Cloud, because our our custom cloud solution is actually solving this by automating the orchestrations and leasing of compute resources, and this way ensuring that inference remains both fast and cost efficient at the same time. And that's very powerful, right? Because this approach enables scalable AI deployments on decentralized networks through our own custom cloud solution. And this way we can offer this in our studio after you've fine-tuned it, and you can host it without having to worry about the infrastructure bottlenecks, or manually setting up more compute resources. And to give an example, about 2 weeks ago, when we deployed the R1 model, we actually looked at AWS for deployments, and to benchmark it to our own cloud solution. On AWS, it was 28K a month to host the R1 DeepSeek model. And on Vertical Cloud, it was only 16.5K. So still money, of course. This is a very large model, so it's going to cost a lot. With smaller models, it's going to be way cheaper. But if you compare these two, this is a cost reduction of more than 40%, and this really got us super excited. Solving the scalability issue was the biggest hurdle that we had when building vertical AI, and we are actually getting very, very close of solving it. And this it was one of the big news that my engineering team gave me this morning. What made me happy today.
I like that so much, because you referred to the no code studio, right? And even your your background picture, which but I love, which I by the way love the design for, is built vertical without coding, right? So
Mm.
2025 roadmap that I think is so nicely presented right over here just includes this no code studio, right? So let's talk about the no code studio for a moment. And why is it so important? Why is it such a big game changer? Why is it so important and actually put in bold caption, on the roadmap for this quarter?
So, you have loads of technologies that are super innovative and super powerful, but to implement them or use them, you need to know how to code. These are available through these SDKs. You can implement them in your projects, and you can utilize them. And the thing is that you only offer your, technology to the 1% that is able to code and utilize it. And I think that by building no code tools, you actually open up very innovative technologies to the broad audience, the 99% of the world. And um, I usually like to give. I'm a man of examples. You probably noticed it already. So I like to always compare this to Shopify. You have to imagine 20 years ago, when you wanted to open up your own web shop, you needed to hire, gigabrain developers to build the web shop for you. But with Shopify, just with a few clicks, anyone can open up their own web shop and start selling products. And this opened up the possibility for so many people to start earning online with their product. And this is super powerful, right? And the only way that they were able to do this is, creating these templates, a no-code environment where you can adjust the colors and the margins and whatever just by, clicking, dragging, dropping. And this exact same format, I think, is very important also in the AI movement, because currently it's only engineers that are capable of understanding the models, the hyperparameters, the hardware settings, etc., to really build these custom models. And by providing this no-code studio, we hope to uh, have the same effect as Shopify had for web shops, but then for AI. Open it up for everyone, and just to give everyone the opportunity to build their own custom model.
Mm, I dig it. And how about the vertical stream, right? Because you've recently launched it. It's kind of like a hot news. It's one of the pinned messages on your Twitter profile, right? On the X profile, if you will. So vertical stream. So let's talk about it for a moment. So why is it so special? Why is it so unique? Why should people care about it?
Mhm. So Vertical Stream is one of the three products that we're building, and it's one of the three products that is already live in version one. And Vertical Stream is essentially a central hub where users can come in, use different type of AI solutions without having to hop different platforms. Because we all know this, right? You have an account on OpenAI, you have an account on Claude, you have an account on Anthropic, and or Anthropic is the same as Claude, but you get the point, right? And you're paying all these subscription fees for all these different models while you're only using them, maybe a few times a week. And this is basically what we are solving with Vertical Stream. We eliminate the need for different subscriptions by aggregating all these models in one platform. So you just need one account to access them all. And besides this, and this is going back to what I said before, the connection between the other two products is that creators who build their own custom model in the studio, they will be able to list their models on the Vertical Stream and start generating revenue in the future. This is super powerful, right? Because if you give the element of capitalism, the free market dynamics to within a platform, you create competition, and people are motivated to build even higher quality models because they are competing with other people in the market for monetization. And we're using vertical clouds as hosting infrastructure for the models built in the studio that are hosted on the stream. So it's all connected. But in general, it's a place where people can come, use, sell, monetize, and explore different types of AI solutions just in one place. And yeah, hopefully dominate them all.
Mm. I got you. And of course, being a founder and CEO always kind of like gives you a lot of different uh, distance and strategy, and knowing exactly what you want to accomplish, right? From the from the foundation perspective, if you will, right? So there is this
Mhm.
feature that is called pay per use system, and I'm trying to understand why is it so relevant to you, from the founder CEO perspective.
Yeah, so if we go back to, the fact that you have all these subscriptions, we know VCs, they love subscription models. Recurring revenue is the holy grail for growing your business, and we're going to use that this business model in our studio, right? But for the stream, we felt like if we want to make it accessible, we want to make sure that if someone just wants to do one prompt, they should be able to just pay for that one prompt, And if you want to use 10 different models, you just pay for what you use. So you have this account, and we're developing our own credit system right now, where you can buy the credits with Viet, with crypto, and also with VertAI by burning it. And then you have these credits, and you only spend them when you use the AI models. If you don't use it for a week, you still keep your credits, right? And we think this is powerful for especially the smaller users, in developing countries that don't have $20 a month to spend on OpenAI, that still want to use these models and these different models in one account. So yeah, we basically say, well, you come in, you pay for what you use, and if you don't use it, you have your credits for when you're going to use it. And we're not going to charge you when you are absent for a week, because we don't think that is a fair approach for our streaming platform.
All right. So it's. I mean, I understand. Of course, it's supposed to retain the clients, the customers, the users, as close to your platform as possible. And I think that's a good integral idea to it. So well done on that. I'm trying to understand, how it all is inserted in the general of the vision that you have for what's beyond 2025, right? Because there's like the whole roadmap that I showed. I'm going to bring it back in a moment. Lots. What is it beyond 2025? Like, where's the long term focus?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm probably going to be dropping some alpha here. Um,
Please do.
so look, this is my job, right? I mean, we have a whole team. We have about 16 FTE currently working in vertical. and the most people are really focused on, the short-term sprints, the features that need to be built in the coming 2 weeks, the coming months. And for me, together with the management, it's very important to look ahead. So what are we working towards? And our mission is to have the whole platform operable in 2025. So all products will be able to be used. But what I think is super powerful is something that gets me super excited, and it comes back a lot here in this EMA, is the vertical cloud, because we are building this now for our own platform, and it creates this closed environment where we can test it. Right, we have our own studio where we can test our cloud infrastructure with the fine tuning jobs, and we can have the hosting also tested within our closed ecosystem too in our infrastructure. But my bigger goal would really be is to open up vertical cloud to external parties, third parties that want to utilize our cost-efficient cloud infrastructure to build, models or applications locally, and they can integrate our cloud solution through our own custom SDK. And this really is going to grow our business exponentially, right? Because if we can open up vertical clouds to third parties, not only within our own ecosystem, and people can start deploying applications, models, whatever, 45% cheaper than AWS while still having auto scaling and load balancing. I mean, we will be a direct competitor to AWS, basically. I'm not going to say that, we're going to take over their market, but if we can just take, 1% or even 5% of the pie, that would be massive for vertical. And that is like the big growth that I see for vertical clouds. And of course, in general for the ecosystem, I just really hope that we manage to create a thriving community, within our platform where people are creating, collaborating, exploring new use cases for vertical AI models that we haven't even thought of, that we really create this buzzing a community where loads of innovation is happening because we provided them the tools. And that will be very great to see that grow too within our platform.
Love it so much. And while we are at it, please do make sure everybody to rush over to the account of our partners at Vertical AI at build_vertical, and definitely make sure you leave the follow button right there, because what Mark is saying from the CEO founder's perspective, is a big alpha. I agree. And there's like a whole 10,000 of people, well over 10,000 people. So already milestone achieved. Good luck trying to fit it in one room, right? It's going to be quite a challenge. That's a whole army of people already, noticing the whole value and the whole concept and verticalizing, the AI utility. And of course, I think keeping that as an integral part, rewarding people is, for using, rewarding back people for using basically, the AI models. I think that's a very big change, and I like where it's going, right? Just like you mentioned, comparison to the AWS, I fully agree. And I wish that it actually materializes itself. And I think that you have everything it takes to making that happen. And speaking of the final point, that we have on the agenda, Mark, for today. Uh, Again, I'm very much curious in your leader's perspective right over here, right? Of course, you have incredible team on your side, which is amazing. At the same time, where do you guys see
Thank-
the AI evolve basically in the Web3? Is it going to be like a swarm intelligence and nothing but AI agents talking to each other 24/7, and Twitter is going to be taken over by that, or it's going to be like the whole decentralized protocol based on the AI models that's going to be completely independent? So talk to me a little bit more about that.
So these swarms of agents, this is a very interesting concept. I know this other project that is building them, and they're doing very good. And I'm keeping a close eye on them. How this will be eventually played out in the market. It's very interesting, right? I think we're not going to notice even how many AI agents will be working on the background. Also for content writing, of course, right? We already see these agents popping up on Twitter, IXCB, I'm not sure if that was the name, that is pumping out content constantly. And I think that AI and blockchain, they go hand in hand. definitely because AI is very good in aggregating these large amounts of data, and the blockchain is basically that, right? It's a ledger full of transactions, and I think that AI could play a crucial role in that in terms of security, also analyzing fraudulent activity, but also trading on chain, really keeping an eye out, because these agents, they can stay online 24/7, right? They can out trade any trader because they are constantly online, and if they are able to get all the information on chain and make conclusions out of it, we can potentially create very successful AI trading bots on that too. So I don't even think we realized how many use cases there are within Web3 for these agents. I'm very curious what the future will bring, and I'm keeping a close eye out on the market, man. And I think that yeah, Web3 is going to be beneficial, or is going to benefit from AI, but there's also going to be some things that we think might be bad. Um, Really depends on the person who developed it, right? Because in our space there's a lot of fraudulent activity too, and if someone decides to use AI for even more advanced fraudulent activity, that could be a problem. So maybe we have good AI agents on chain fighting bad AI agents on chain, and we don't even notice that, and it's like a whole digital battle that is going to unfold in front of on chain. It's very curious, man. I really curious what
Hmm.
is going to happen. What is your thought on this? I'm curious about that too.
Oh man, so it all sounds like Andrew Tate was right. We were in Matrix, right?
Yes,
No, man. I mean,
yes.
it's. I think that's where it's going, right? And then the end of the day, it depends on the person who's using it. Just like it happened with the gunpowder and with the dynamites and stuff like that, right? With Nobel, and it always depends on the person, man. So I fully align with your words, Mark. And having just a minute left, I'd say the final takeaway, the final kind of like a golden thought, that you would love to leave our viewers and listeners with, Mark, from your very precious leader's perspective, from the vertical AI perspective, something that people should be looking out for, something that something that they should take away, as if it was just one thing, Mark, what would it be?
Oh, it really depends on what aspect you're asking that question with. If it's on vertical, I would say be prepared, because the team that we have in house is, I'm amazed. It's a whole team of gigabrains. It's very funny, right? Because lots of companies, they have 10 marketing people, but they cannot get their hands on developers for some reason. I just had developers excited to join in the vertical train, and I had the option to pick a few. So I've really been lucky to pick the best out of the best. And these gigabrains are building such great tech, like innovative software. From a leader perspective, you know, I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to build such a great team and to be leading the vertical AI mission forward. We are not stopping. We just began. I mean, only one of our products is now live. The vertical studio beta version is coming this quarter, and it's going to be running on vertical clouds. And the stuff that we are going to build on top of that, we're so excited to keep innovating with these tools. And yeah, keep track of the journey, because we value community. Join us, join the conversation. If you have any questions, we are always in the Telegram group answering the questions, so feel free to join in. And yeah, we're
Love
happy
it
to
so
help
much, and
you.
I share that excitement, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, who's the CEO and founder of Vertical AI, our amazing partners, has been our guest for today's AMA session. Thank you so much for your wealth and time and knowledge, Mark.
Thank you for having me, and we'll talk to each other later. Hey, so Arjun, are you at
I'm
Denver?
not. I'm actually skipping this one, man. I wish.
What? Come on, man. No. All
I
right, all
wish.
right. So I'll make sure I cover the bird nest
I
there too for
appreciate
you,
it, my
man.
man. I appreciate it. Talk soon, everybody. See you around. Make sure you hit the follow button. Build underscore vertical AI. God bless. Peace out. Bye bye. Ciao.